Welcome, welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. We got a chart, and we're going to walk together through the week of August 3rd in the following 7 days. And we have Neptune, Venus, and Pluto. But we are also going to mention Chiron begins its retrograde today. So, right here, it tells us a lot of information about what the wound is, Chiron, in regarding our values. We have a wound in our values, a value of what? Virgo energy, work, job, the daily routine, the mundane, your health, your food, your cleanliness, your hygiene, service industry, finances. You see, even Venus on the day of the Chiron retrograde, even Venus is at a money degree, at the Venus degree, 26 degrees. So wounds over the values connected to finances and income and how I receive self-worth. This is about trusting the self, that I can take care of myself, that I will take care of myself. I've got my back. How do I prove to myself that I am worthy? By what actions and decisions and choices do I take? Do I tell me I know I won't betray myself? It does intensify the energy of values and self-worth and the wounds over those things, the wounds over my money and my finances, food and the earth. Chiron will be retrograding all the way back to 26 degrees in Aries. And yes, that is another Venus degree. That's when the Chiron in Aries can have an adult conversation about, now this is what I'm willing to fight for. We have the Jupiter and we have the Sun going through feisty, fiery Leo and the South Node in Leo energy, which is very theatrical, very dramatic. When we're in our Leo energy, we feel like we are going to step up and take charge. Jupiter gives us that confidence. Keep an eye on the Leo energy, because in your chart, if you have Aquarius, if you have Taurus and Scorpio, this would be what they call the fixed cross. That can be very tricky. It can create a lot of stress and a lot of tension. And so the cross angles are going to be this week from 7 to 21 in Taurus and Scorpio is where you're going to feel a lot of extreme stress and tension. Very fixed, meaning we don't want to budge. We just don't want to budge. And so we might have to take a few steps back type of energy and take a few breaths and rethink things and just understand cooler heads will prevail. All these signs are stubborn, as well as Aquarian energy. So the opposition, same 7 through 21 degrees, there might be some stress and tension. Use laughter and play. Use humor. Use fun and creativity. Use things that can be used like a tool, to use as a buffer even. And the amount of take charge authority figure energy can be over the top. These are the rules, my way or the highway type of wording. So almost simultaneously, Mercury enters Leo and Venus enters Libra. Now, what does this do? Creating a strong opposition to Pluto energy, Pluto and Aquarius down there. So we're paying attention, especially towards the end of the week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is probably at the beginning and then the end of the week are the bigger times. Beautiful trine energy, Venus and Pluto. Intense energy with groups, with authority figures, with different new, unique. This is science. This is space, individual power, authenticity, an intense bond over our values. And it's in professional partnerships, but also significant one-on-one partnerships, marriage. Pluto requires change and growth. You see, it's deep, it's intense, it's unbelievably meaningful energy. So with that and the Venus, it talks about deeply meaningful partnerships. So for some, it can be friends. It can be, part of a group and social circle that you are a part of, and maybe a deep connection there with some folks within that group itself. That same Venus is going to be in an opposition to Neptune while she's in a trine to Pluto. You see? So there is this very powerful, karmic, intense bond. And because Pluto can bring a healing, this may be soul energies, soul stories that that are related to attachment, money, love, desires. And Neptune can also bring a healing because it brings about understanding energy. So when we look at the connections, the 4 degrees is prominent. Group energy, as far as tribal energy, as far as the public, but also mom and family energy. But feminine energy, very strong this week. Again, very strong. So nurturing, emotional security, emotional safety. Yes, this can be property, but the big connection here is the values and the money, possibly finances, but self-worth, self-love. Remember, it all kind of goes back to this because Venus rules Chiron, and this is what Chiron brought about right off the top of the week at 0 degrees. And when it started retrograding, it brought that internal conversation about self-worth and self-betrayal. And maybe we don't look at it as a self-betrayal, but it is. If we ourselves don't do that for ourselves, then we set ourselves up. And the deep bonded energy, the deep connections, we're going to have Mars also by the end of the week at 29 degrees in Gemini. This is trade, business and commerce, sales, food and supply chain will be a thing here. All right, towards the end of the week. This is Mars taking action, not sitting still, but it's Mars also, Gemini is learning and the news, what we're hearing about. And have we learned to, count to 10 or to read it multiple times before we press send? We are actually way more mature here than we were just a few months ago. Because a few months ago, Jupiter was just finalizing its 29 degrees in Cancer energy, making us more emotionally mature, more emotionally, adding emotional depth to our character, to our willingness to look at our emotions and not allow them to rule our actions. And that was like the whole lesson of the whole Mars going through there and Mercury retrograding in Cancer. So Mars at 29 degrees at the end of this week, and then it will be at 0 degrees, to kick off the following week. So Mars in Cancer usually tends to set up a little bit more of a challenge, but the hope is because of the Mercury retrograde, and Mercury still, now in this beautiful, optimistic Leo energy, hopefully, we are more courageous with ourselves, but also with our greater family, humanity.